All right, evening, folks. Welcome to the very first ever Siege of the Mist. I'm your host, Aegon. With me is Crackbone. Say hello.
Hi, how are you?
Beetle
Hi.
and Blank Space.
Hey everyone, how you doing tonight?
Would you guys give a brief background about yourselves?
Go ahead, Craig.
Sure. I am Crackbone for everybody that's watching. I am the admin and co-owner of GW2WVW.com. We are a World versus World and PvP community and fan site, obviously based on World versus World and PvP content. Additionally, I am also the guild master of Open Rebellion, and looking forward to talking about a little bit of World versus World and PvP this evening.
Oh, and Beetle.
All right. I'm Beetle. Do some volunteer work for Frag World as an artist. Yeah, I'm guild master of Subterfuge Gaming. That's pretty much it. Total bro.
Total bro. And Blank Space.
Hi, my name is Blank Space. I'm the World vs. World PvP officer for a guild called Pain Train. Got a long history in MMOs, mostly World of Warcraft, and I don't have any wonderful side projects like Frag World and all these other things these guys got except for this podcast, so nothing to plug there. But honored to be here. It's a pleasure.
Good. And I'm Aegon, contributor and live streamer with Fragworld, as well as the host for this show. Glad you can join us. Hope you'll join us every week. Get things started. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, you can email us at sotm@fragworld.org. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SiegeMist, or like us on Facebook at SiegeMist. First up, we got Crackbone having a professions workshop. Why don't you tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah, so basically our professions workshop is essentially it's a community collaboration that's directly, obviously, dealing with professions. We are actually building out a separate section of the website specifically for the profession workshops. They are basically meeting of the minds on Raid Call. We do that I believe every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Essentially, everybody gets together and talks about particular professions. We are cycling through them on a weekly schedule. 2 weeks after launch, I think it's actually September 8th, if I'm correct. We'll be talking, I think the first one up will be the engineer. Then prior to that date, we're actually getting together and sort of structuring how the entire logistics of that particular project are going to be handled. I have a associate of mine, Temperhoof, who's actually running the profession workshop, and we'd love for everybody to come on by and contribute their thoughts and help us make this into a great community project for everybody in Guild Wars 2.
All right. Hope that's successful. Hope you get a good turnout.
Well, we actually, so far, we've had probably 20 to 25 for the first couple of weeks. I think as we get some more social media going and broadcasts such as this, we'll do much better as we go along, especially once we get closer to launch and after launch when everybody can get their hands on the game.
Yeah, I'll probably pick up closer to that.
Yeah, it's been really a big issue. I mean, just like anybody running a fan site or talking about professions, it's really hard to have like months of content when you've only had 7 or 8 days to actually have a hold of the game. So hopefully it'll pick up closer to launch.
Hope so too. And with ArenaNet being so tight-lipped about any details.
All the skills are going to change anyway, so
I
all the
know.
walkthroughs will just be like,
Well,
what happened?
I go out there and I say, hey guys, I need guides. I need profession guides, and nobody wants to write anything because they know they're going to have to change it 2 days later. So it's
Oh god. All right.
User joined your channel.
You got the news of the week. First off, Interesting site. Yeah, it's getting a lot of press
User left
lately.
your channel.
The Guild Wars 2 guilds.org. They actually have a very nice layout for guilds. They actually, get the tags, what servers they're on, what they plan to go to anyways. Even has it marked down what their guild focuses for: World v World, PV everything, PVE, PvP, roleplay. The list keeps growing and growing. It seems to be a good resource to find a guild now and in the future.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely going to be a little better than that Titan pad that everybody kept trolling on and deleting everything. And it's really, really easy if you toss your guild up there, even smaller guilds, stuff like that. That if you switch servers or you switch mentalities, you just go in and edit it from PVX to RP. All of a sudden, you're RPing on some different server. Everybody knows, and that way everybody can kind of plan around. Like, hey, these guys look pretty awesome. Let's go to their server or something like that.
And from what I see, they actually approve and check out the guilds before they actually officially let them on the list. So
That's good.
you
That's
don't get
definitely-
you don't get a lot of random crap and these 5-by-night, 5-minute guilds showing up. All right, and next we have the play date, which is a every Monday and Tuesday. They'll be running the play date over at Fragworld TeamSpeak. It's a chance for kind of a speed dating for guilds, chance to come by, talk to guild leaders, guild members, get a feel for any guild you might be interested in joining, or any guild you definitely don't want to be interested in joining. Been to a few of them, and they're pretty successful and pretty fun. People have a good time, and you meet some really interesting people there. And last but not least for this week, Guild Wars 2 Guru has put up a nice article about putting the guild back into Guild Wars 2. The first part is planning. It's a very brief but very well designed and detailed, I say fact on, how do you want to design your guild, how do you want to design your officer, your leadership structure, recruitment. Talks about the Guild Wars 2 guild cap and how much it's going to cost you.
Yeah, it's a real good overview for guild leaders that haven't really looked into the whole influence and planned out their whole thing. It's really, really basic from the get-go, and a lot of guild leaders that have been in the beta weekends will say, hey, I already know all this crap, but it's really well written and it's really detailed for what it is, and I look forward to seeing part 2.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm a guild leader, and I actually learned a couple things from that list because I've been too busy actually fighting in World versus World to really look
Exactly.
at the
He's
guild
implying I'm
list.
not. He's
So-
implying I'm not.
So,
Beetle doesn't
so
imply it.
I thought it was absolutely worth taking a look at.
Yep, definitely a good read. Learned a few things, that I was doing wrong. So hey. All right. Of course, since we're brand new, we got no feedback or mailbag this week. But we hope to hear from all of our viewers. Questions, comments.
We need feedback.
Feedback is always wonderful. All right, on to the meat of the discussion, the round table. First off, the last beta weekend and the recent stress test. This is the last one. We're not going to see anything to release date. How do you feel? I mean, it's imminent. You think they're ready?
Freaking
Think
out.
they're good to go?
Game needs to launch. I
Agreed.
think I speak for probably a lot of the viewers. The game needs to launch. I think it's time. The last beta weekend felt pretty polished to me. Had a couple of hours on the stress test today. Didn't do much other than run around in PvE, and like I was saying before the show, I spent 45 minutes on a jump puzzle, which was unsuccessful at. So apparently, I'm not a platformer, so but personally, I think the game is pretty close to being completed. I mean, I don't see a lot of things they need to really do, especially on the PvE side. Mainly, it's small tweaks, I think, to World versus World and probably structured PvP, some balancing.
Oh, yeah. Tried out that new Ashura jumping puzzle. Man, that was nuts.
Did you?
Oh yeah. and,
I
and
didn't
it's
do that one, but
and it's tricky too
okay.
because man, if you don't, you actually like have to make shortcuts, and if you go the wrong way, you got to start all over again.
Oh God. I did the one in the Silvari area that was just the spiral tree up.
Oh,
And I know a couple of me and my guild members were like, "Oh man, this is easy," and I'm like down at the bottom. I'm like, when you do it as an 8-foot Norn,
yeah.
your camera kind of
Not
clips into
good.
your character,
Yeah.
and
Well-
you're like, "Oh man, I need to make a jumping puzzle specific character. Apparently,
God.
it needs to have blinks. It needs to be a Sura, and that's how you're gonna do it."
Yeah. Well, this puzzle put those Vista puzzles to shame. And
No. I just had a question. I did the only one I've actually gotten to do a lot is in a Borderlands, and it had like 2 different keys. Are the other ones like that, or are they all just one key, one prize?
They're usually unique. They have unique gameplay modifiers to them. Like the one Aegon was saying has shortcuts to it. The Silvari one has like moving rocks because they're like floating for some reason that they don't tell you. It's like, oh yeah, welcome to the tree land. There's floating rocks.
Yeah.
So it's cool. But I think they're pretty unique with all the things that they do, and they like to add a unique twist on each one. So I don't know.
Okay, that's cool.
it's definitely some nice, interesting diversions than just sitting around. Client performance and UI performance. I think it's still going well.
For the last beta,
The last beta and the stress test. I mean, how are things handling?
stress test was it seemed to be a lot more in the GPU than it was anything else, and that was kind of disappointing when trying to get some screenshots and whatnot. When you're running at 12 frames from the beta weekend, it was like, wow, I've got 60 frames. This is awesome, rocking out, no problems. To the stress test, you could tell they were really testing specific things. What they are, who knows, but you could definitely feel the difference.
Cool. Well, hopefully this stress test answers some questions we have for PvP. So.
I didn't see any performance issues. I mean, in this stress test because that my crafting bar just went straight up. There was no frame rate drops. I was 43 FPS the whole time. I mean, no problems at all.
I'll have to echo. I didn't have any issues performance wise. Obviously, I got the initial improvement. I think in the last beta weekend, I could definitely tell that it was hitting the GPUs instead of being CPU limited. Tonight, I really enjoyed it. Actually, today, I felt like, hey, this game feels like it's ready to go. So I think they've made huge strides with performance in the client.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, I playing in the beta week, and I definitely felt they're ready to go. And I think I maybe ran into one entire bug the entire weekend, and that was just clipping issues. But other than
Yeah.
that,
Clipping's still there, but I mean, when it comes down to it, it's a massive content game, and like maybe there's some level 80 gear that isn't in, or maybe there's a couple drops that aren't in. I know when I played at PAX, I was picking up stuff in the level 80 area when they let you play it that was just unlabeled. But it's going to take so long for people to get to that content that they could actually like sneak it out without, having to. They can finish like levels 75 to 80 before we get there in a week.
I'm sure they're ready to throw in a lot of that end game stuff in the first couple of months. Especially for those people that are just going to sit there and spend their whole leveling up PvPing from 1 to 80.
Yeah, don't leave the World v. World area. My shock collar goes off if I leave the Borderlands or EV.
No, they say don't leave EB if you want to get back in there. So, what was your favorite moments from maybe the stress test or the weekend?
You know, my favorite moment was from the beta weekend when I went from a 16-second delay in front of a keep to it getting fixed. That was my favorite moment. No, I mean,
Yeah.
I think I had obviously being a World versus World probably. I don't know. I want to say I was probably in the last beta weekend out there for like 40 hours or so. Lots of great moments out there. I really think that the greatest moment is seeing the game actually come together to the point where we're actually talking about launch. I mean, I don't know how about you guys, but I've been like waiting for this it feels like forever, and we're going to be there here in a few weeks.
I've been grinding, just gnashing teeth for the game to start already.
Yeah. I guess my favorite moment would probably from the last beta weekend when we were rolling in probably like 10-man group, just controlling the neutrals and EB, and just seeing. This is a message to all the pugs out there that don't have guilds. I'm not knocking on you or anything like that, but it would just be like we'd take the ogres, maybe take the tower next to it, and my favorite moment was just seeing like everybody that was in the pug group just kind of turn their heads towards Stone Mist if we didn't have it, and they're like, we just took this tower. Let's go take Stone Mist. And my favorite moment just was them just be like, smash up against the walls. Like, nah, we got it with our 15 people. I was just like, I'm leaving. I wish I could help, but it's not gonna happen on that one.
We had a couple of fun times with the same thing, Pug players, where we'd be setting up siege on certain places, and they'd be like, what are you guys doing? Like, we'd be hiding behind a hill to hit a wall, and they'd just come running up from a supply depot. They'd be like, what do you guys do? Whoa, this is cool. We're just going to hang out while you guys take this wall down. Where sometimes we'd set up a ballista at a supply point. We'd hide it out of the way, though, so someone would come take it, and they'd leave. It'd take us, you wait the 5 minutes for the cooldown to go down, come back, kill everything, and keep it there. So when they come running back, it was like, hey, we've got a ballista plus the guards. We had a lot of fun little times like that. It was good.
Ballistas are my favorite. So fun.
Yeah, playing around with those for fun. Cool. And last but not least for this weekend, the Ending Hunger Games event. What'd you think of it? Good, bad?
I have my belief on this. You either had fun or you didn't. There was no in between. And the people that didn't have fun didn't survive like I did. And that's what it was. Not even, I maybe killed one guy, but I hid in the corner the whole time, found a ration spawn with one other guildie, and I was like, you want some of these rations? Here comes a guy, hide in the water. And we lived the whole time, and just like victory, man. And like seeing when we finally had to go out hunting for the last player of like the blue team, we were on red team, and finding him and seeing the tactics that emerged from it, and it was just him and a wave of robots, and they all saw us and started hopping up and down like they were happy to see us. No way you could get a shot on the guy. You just had to hope he starved because they would all block. Oh man, it was hilarious. Just the tactics that came out of that, like how people reacted, was amazing.
That's awesome.
I can say that I was not able to participate because I've been up for, I don't know, let's see, Sunday after Saturday's bug. We were up on Sunday, and we were running with an Oceanic guild, taking over entire Borderlands. Once we took over the entire Borderlands, we then took a little break, started back at it later. I had maybe a 2-hour-long nap. So by the time the night came around and we were up a good 60,000, 70,000 points, I'm like, we're done. Y'all can do whatever you want. So I pretty much crashed at that point. But from what I heard, it was either you were running around trying to kill people, or you were playing Beetle and you were just like, find this watch. Shh. We're a push.
We found 3 ration spawns, man, and those things. We found the max amount of rations you could carry, which you shouldn't do. It's just like, oh, you can only hold 20. Eat. You got to eat one, dude, to grab this one. Like, the thing that was also cool about it was the amount of work they put into it, though. I don't know if you guys played Guild Wars 1, but the amount of work they put into events in that, and with the events in this, like, all the tooltips, or the image icons, most of them were changed, and, like, the unique modifier icons to it, like fatigue, you're dying because of it. Just the amount of work that goes into it's really cool.
Yeah, definitely it's good to see those spontaneous events pop up like they did in first Guild Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the best fun I had was being a robot. I pretty much spent my time like just blocking people so they couldn't go anywhere.
That tactic. A guy got killed in front of me, and as he spawned as a robot, I instantly party invited him. It was like, you're my scout now, go.
Nice.
You got to tell me where they're at.
We took one of those like little buildings that off the side that had like the one door, then you had to go up and around. They had rations up on the roof. We like had the robots blocking the door, and a bunch of people shooting down from the top.
Kind of wish I'd seen it now. Kind of wish I'd seen it.
Yeah, I know.
Did you not do it, Crack?
No, I was at the end of the my better half's threshold at that point. So we called it a night.
He was fighting his own boss. is
Hey,
what
you
he
know
was.
what? You know
And he
what?
lost.
You know what? I after 40 hours in World versus World over 2 days, I think I'll let her, I'll let her win that one. So
Time to hang up the towel on that one.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Now on to what we're here for. Our main topic: World v World.
Hooray.
Hooray!
yes,
That's what the show's about?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. That's what they come
Wait,
here
it's talking about
for.
robots?
No. No.
My bad.
Thought it was about Star Wars going free to play. Ooh, sorry.
Oh.
Oh, wait, I can see.
Oh, snap. Ouch.
I had to close the stream. What box am I in?
Yeah, I know.
Can we- it's this way for me.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. All right. Good. Good.
So what's our first point on World v. World, Agon?
All right. First thing first. The World v World cap for EB. What do we
Go blank.
I can't even talk about EV because I never go in there. That's not my area of responsibility. I just let other people run in there. All I hear is, "Oh, it's full." I'm like, "Well, that sucks. I'm gonna go into this Borderland. Y'all have fun." Like,
See, I can't talk about it either because my group of 10, we just glitched through the gate. We just kept pressing F.
That's right.
Once
Yeah.
8 of us were in out of the 10, we were like, all right, we're going. So,
Yeah, that's the first thing. Bugging your way into the queue. Think it needs a fix ASAP.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
absolutely. Today was nice because there wasn't a timer, but you actually we told people to queue it up. We'll see if it worked or not, and we started to work on a jumping puzzle. And then by the time from the Citadel to the jumping puzzle, just as we were about to start, it popped. And like a bunch of my viewers were like, "Wow, this is the first time we've seen the queue actually work." You know, I thought it was going to be like you're going to sit in it the rest of the time, but no, it definitely was working as intended. On the beta weekend, just sitting there hitting F and Lion's Arch F F F F, just
Right.
spamming it, but not spamming it too fast to get kicked out, but just fast enough to get in. That was a mess.
Yeah. I'm sure it pissed off a lot of people too, watching these people pop in and they're still sitting there going, "Come on!
player versus
What am I doing
queue.
wrong?"
Lion's Arch became way more the hub than it needed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
it was
there,
like
it's
some
just
kind
hanging.
of it's like some kind of twisted synchronized line dancing or something going in there into the gates, F.
Well, I just wanted to play
Over and
jump
over and over
around.
again.
You just come
I
in,
know.
jump around,
Woo!
jump around.
I know.
I mean, how fun was it to just be standing there and you hit F once or twice, F, and then someone walk up and they'd hit F and they get ready and you'd be like, "What? Come on! I've been here for 30 minutes, man!"
I was always the guy that got
Damn
in. So,
Ah, that was
Yeah.
rough, but it looks like they've done some work on it at least, because the queue worked. We may or may not get a timer. I hope we do. I don't think it's that hard. I'm not a programmer. I got no idea, but it would be nice to see you're one of 600 people trying to get into World versus World right now.
Yeah.
Cool. I can go do this or that while I wait for this to go on.
I'm hoping they can build a timer into it. I mean, if they can build a timer into servers and how long you're waiting to get into a server, they should be able to do it to wait for that kind of queue.
yeah, and they've heard so many people ask for it in the last town hall via Twitter, stuff like that. It's just give us a timer. I mean, it gives those people that peace of mind. You can go by, I don't know, go do stuff that you do in towns.
Even an estimated timer would be great.
Yeah.
Just a general idea, so you're not sitting there doing the line dance into the
Yeah, just
Azure gates.
yeah, it also gives you that point oh, it's gonna be 3 hours. Hey, ain't doing that tonight. Go someplace
Yeah.
else,
Right.
Yep. So you think this recent stress test improved the numbers for the battleground? It'd be nice to see.
For it didn't. I don't know if it happened in the stress test. I'm sure we were still on the same build.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
but I'm sure
probably
they
put
can
it
tweak the
up.
numbers behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, you'd think that they got to bump it up for launch due to the amount of people they're going to have in it, but they could just say use the queue. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody who's there's going to be guilds trying to operate in these gates and in these borderlands and stuff like that, but there's always going to be the guys that don't have guilds that are like, well, let me try out this part of the game. You know, the guys that play the Call of Duty campaign first and then hop into multiplayer and are like, I'll play free for all once or twice. You gotta wait for those guys to get in, get out, and I think the cap was okay as long as it works correctly.
Definitely. So the next issue will be sentries. There's been a lot of talk about those. What do you see their role being? Problems, benefits? Do we even
Free
need them?
karma and XP, pretty much.
There you go.
This could be a long topic here.
XP bank.
We might
Yeah.
be here a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess from my perspective, I understand what the concept is. Put another layer of strategy in between the
User joined
supply
your channel.
camp and the tower and/or keep, so that you are encouraged to upgrade your Doliacs and that type of thing. However, I don't really see them as solo content as I guess ArenaNet had described them as, because to me they were just basically speed bumps on the way to the supply camp with the 30 to 40 rolling behind me. Let's just go and cash in on the experience in Karma Piggy Bank. I think though they're headed in the right direction on these, and I'd like to see that whole concept fleshed out a little bit.
Do you think they should make them more like mini bosses, or especially if you're going to have people rolling around in 40 and 50 man groups,
I kind of think they're sort of in between, because they're hunting for something for smaller groups of anywhere from, I'm assuming, 1 to 3 to be able to participate in World versus World and be successful. However, at the same time, something like that I think probably should be along the line of maybe a little bit more difficult content, more group content.
I think I've got a couple points on them, I guess. It's several of them were placed in areas, like I told Crack earlier in the week, that they're placed in areas that weren't, like, yes, they're supposed to cut off these supply Doliacs, but they're placed in areas that wouldn't be a big deal. Like, in between, I think it's in the Borderlands, the southeast tower and the southeast supply camp, there's a sentry there. If you're down at that south tower, you guys are going to accidentally go east and kill that sentry. There's no way that the other team is going to have that capped for long enough for you to be, screwed out of your supply. But the other thing is, I think they should add more on the other paths. They seem to be, one of 2 paths down here is blocked by one of 2 paths up here has a sentry. So there's always one of these paths. I think they should add more almost, but keep them at the level they are. So they're still easy to kill, but they become, I know I'm going to regret saying this, but almost an annoyance. I want them to be annoying in the fact that if we're defending a tower, and all of a sudden like, where is our supply? Oh, great, they've capped this. I need to send a team out to get it back, or just kill it so we can recap and let it respawn. I think it needs to be more annoying than it is, because I don't care about them right now, and with them being only, correct me if I'm wrong, worth 1 point, as far as the World v. World score goes, you can add more. I mean, drop them from the sky for all I care.
Excuse me. My thoughts on them were, I was trying to think of them a little bit of a broader aspect, that if they're intended to be solo, that's good, they're usable. If you're being attacked by a couple people, they don't really do that much. But I keep thinking about, what do they do logistically? If you have a supply camp that's putting out supply that is not upgraded, that you're going to be able to, by yourself, with that guard, kill a Doliac, that you would not be able to do necessarily by yourself without being downed. So that was one of my thoughts. But then the counter to that is, well, what happened? You've now upgraded all of these supply camps, and they're now running around with guards. I didn't get a chance to test this. Are you still able to, even though they have guards, to kill them to bring them down? Because it is a very interesting dynamic. Right now, from what I understand, you and a guard, or the guards themselves, will kill the Doliacs that come out. That plays into, do we use the 100 supply, or however much it is, I'm not sure, to upgrade it? Do we take supply out of this place? Do we wait for it to regen? There's a lot of different variables at hand there, and it really is, what is ANET intending for them to do? right now, we're seeing optimal world versus world play. These are large groups. These are tactical groups that are playing and running around, playing 20 hours a day. How big of a role are they going to have when people are only playing during their raid times or their prime times, and there's no one else around to take out those supply? There's a difference between getting into a campaign and your fort has 1,000 supply, or you come back and somebody took a sentry and they made sure that you didn't get any supply from either entrance, and they start a siege at your time. You're empty.
I guess it could be kind of a sneak tactic, on those. I guess there's always Oceanics and European as well, but those downtimes, like you said, if somebody sneaks a sentry and you were planning on getting up in the morning, having your eggs and bacon and having supply in your keep, there's the possibility somebody grabbed that sentry last night and he's just been trucking through your supply camp or your Daliacs every time. And the other thing I noticed, I don't know if it was a bug, blank crack, you guys might have noticed this, but with upgraded guards on the Daliacs, if you just killed the Daliacs, the guards would despawn. I don't know if I was the only one getting it. I honestly don't think that should happen. I think
don't
those
know if
guards
it's
should
intended
stay.
or not.
Yeah.
I don't really know if that's intended or not. I considered it a game design decision. I didn't think it was necessarily a bug, but I don't necessarily think it's a good one either.
Yeah.
I think if you pay the money for the guards, you should have to take care of the guards.
That's what I was thinking. It's just like, pop Daliacs down.
Because the Daliac's the weakest link. I mean, you can run over him with a swift breeze can knock a Daliac over. So it's not like we're so hey, there goes the guards. I don't necessarily think that's the right thing, but I don't think it was a bug. I think it was how they intended it.
And I also need. Let's animate. I know we only have 25 viewers. Ain't if you're one of them, or if you're gonna listen to this, let's get a sprint animation on that Daliac. When I give it swiftness, and he's just like, "Oh baby, I'm just doing it faster."
I know.
I'm a little gallop. Come on.
That's definitely they should look at working on. I think those guards should definitely not despawn when Doliak's killed, and definitely just makes
Especially
them.
if they're upgraded.
Especially, it makes them worthless. I mean, you just wasted all those resources on something that's going to vanish and be worth nothing to you.
Yeah, once I found that out, it was just like, Daliac, take him down. All right, peace, guards. Like,
See, I did send in a bug report just to make sure they were working as intended, because whether they're aware of it or not. But my thought is this: if they're thinking, okay, the Daliac's dead, the guards are what, mercenaries, and they're like, well, this thing's dead, peace, I'm out, like anyone else would. Okay. But if it's not, then it's something to address, because you are buying with supply and funds these guards. So it's kind of like, well, we just spent all this supply that could have been going out that we could have taken for a siege, we could have done something else with. Now they just disappear. They're all right, he's dead, I'm out. Like,
yeah.
I got nothing to do now.
If they go with that thinking, you want to change the whole mechanic on the guards and give them some kind of ability that basically guards the Daliac and reduces the damage on the Daliac by 90% until the guards are dead or something.
A buff, an armor buff to the Daliac with guards around him, and I would be for that. If you kill the Daliac, they go down, but they give an armor buff. But I mean, my big thing the first two beta weekends was always supply camps. To me, upgrading them wasn't the most important thing, but now I think with the addition of the scouts, they added another NPC guard into the mix somewhere. That if it's upgraded, it completely takes out that whole 6-7 man taking supply camps. If they're upgraded enough, I mean, we used to be able to take them with 6-7 guys. Now it's a little more difficult. You better watch your aggro if you're in there when they have the upgraded guards. Those supply camps can kick back pretty quick. And I was really happy to see that. They're still really easy to roll over, but there's at least a little Tabasco sauce in the food, I guess. and somebody said the Baywatch run for that Daliac. That is the perfect term for it. He's got the Baywatch run on him. He's Hasselhoffing it.
Oh God, yeah. Any other what are the solutions you guys think you can come up for this problem? And is this a problem that they even need to pay much attention to?
I still believe it's what their intentions are. I would like, maybe the guard to be able to be upgraded. I also put in on my bug reports, maybe there could be one if it's a friendly when supply goes by. If enough supply goes by and he's done his job, maybe you could upgrade him. So this guy, he's now from regular Joe to veteran because he's seen like 15, 20, runs Dalyax. He stood at his post. He could be upgraded. That was something I thought of. Might be worthwhile. But it's just right now we're taking hardcore world versus world evidence, to form our opinions. And I keep trying to think, well, what are we going to do when it's 2 weeks, and people are playing at different times. They have specific raid times that they're going to be on. Is that what they're looking for? Is that part, to involve those 1, 2, 3 people who are like, dude, we can't do much, but we could stop this supply from getting in, and then maybe we could get enough people that we could take that supply camp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good point that they're probably looking at the 2-week thing, and we're all thinking, man, this server resets in 9 hours. This has got
Exactly.
This has got to happen. But that's a really good point that they're looking at the long term, and I'm just tunnel visioned right now on that.
I can't even imagine what a 2-week battle even looks like right now.
Yeah. I still think you're going to have your large, contingent of hardcores that spend a good, 15, 20 hours a day. Even when you get to that 2-week battle.
They need to put in like a fatigue system based on how long you've been in the borderland. Your guy starts like crawling, and you're like, oh my god.
People would still play through that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody give me that loaf of bread with that quickness buff. I need
That's
it.
right.
Swiftness.
No, I that's kind of the tactical mind I have that I've thought about. When it comes down to 2 weeks, the difference is going to be, for us, is small group tactics. Right now it's like keep and blow all your money because it's just a weekend or whatever. There's no financial attrition on a beta weekend. People don't think about it. You get as much money as you can, and then, on Sunday you just blow it all, making siege golems or trebuchets and just throwing them around. I've started to really, break down what are we going to do when this is 2 weeks, where the focus is going to be. And some of that is making teams who their entire objective is to run Dalyax, to make sure that we're able to upgrade the fastest as possible, that they may even be doing runs on a place that's being contested, 15, 20 people walking a Dalyak with 75 supply into a tower that's being attacked. That's huge, and that's where I'm trying to put myself into, because once the game comes out, it's no longer just ha ha ha, spend all your money, do whatever you want. These things have a lasting effect.
Yeah,
That's just walking them in with 15 guardians and just guardian bubble, guardian bubble, guardian bubble.
Yeah, but I can
see it.
definitely see in the 2-week battle the supply lines are going to be a lot more important in these 24-hour rushes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I could just see that, just crawling a Dalyak up with that supply. Like, we need that supply.
Yeah.
My arrow cart needs one more hammer, man. Let me get this arrow cart up.
Every guardian to the road now.
Yeah, I just bump every time. I can just see it.
Well, that's something we had to do at one point where I left defensive contingent objective group at a keep. Excuse me. It was at a tower, and we were just outside of someone's teleport point. And we literally, I left like 5 or 10 people behind, and I took everyone else, and we walked the Dalyak in. But then we were able to get the door back up. It's tactics like those that, I've been focusing on a lot, because everyone, like I said, they're used to thinking, we got to get this down now. We got to get this down now. I'm thinking, how is this going to play out in 2 weeks? These battles are going to be, I'm thinking about setting up siege in, like I said, in supply camps or along the road and certain choke points, just geographical choke points that we can bait people in. That's one of the things I love to do is I have people that I call them my little recon guys. I'm like, you guys are going to run over there because they just took that supply camp. You're going to make them chase you right back here to these 5 arrow carts, and we're going to mow them all down. But we're going to die. Yeah, I know. Just go.
I'll res you. I'll res you. Let me get my stream live because this is going to be awesome.
I always hear, blank, this better work. Blank, this better work. Like 5 minutes after, can't believe that worked. That's so cool.
You're gonna hear
Because-
screaming one of these times like it didn't work.
Yeah,
didn't work.
because when you die in the game, you die in real life. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I think people are definitely going to have to think about the long term when it comes to the 2-week battles. I mean, your resources are going to be stretched a lot farther than they are in this 24-hour thing.
Upgrades, upgrades, upgrades.
And
Yep.
I think people are going to have to be careful in the first 2 weeks of the game not to get trapped in that 24-hour mentality either.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we are gonna have for however long ANET wants it. I don't know if we're going to a different topic on this, but like we're gonna have that 24-hour period for the first couple matches. I hope it doesn't go too terribly long, but the system that they're basing it off of, that chess mechanic and stuff, for I guess it's a modified ELO, requires a lot of data.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how much they want, but for it to be really specific, I would see at least, honestly, like 35 24-hour matches, but I don't want to see the whole first month like that.
I'm thinking that maybe, I mean, if they're registering all these servers here and abroad, I mean, you might be looking at 2 weeks or so, probably gathering data.
Well, I also look at it too is the data they're going to be collecting is going to be comprehensive. They're going to be looking at how many keeps got upgraded, how many players from each server were there. Maybe they might even look at, gilded versus non-gilded. And that data that's a lot of stuff to collect. And 24 hours, it does seem like a short time. But if you're looking at a server has a high population and you put them up against a server with a lower population, yeah, they take over the map. But then the important variables are, did they upgrade them? What did they upgrade? How much money did they spend? And hopefully when they're gathering all of that, then they're going to be able to see, a basic idea of where they should put, this server does this amount of work. They put this much gold into upgrades and things like that. They had this active population doing stuff. This one did not so much. So we're going to put this guy over here with this other, and be able to match them up like that. That's what I'm
That
hoping
makes
they're
sense.
doing.
Yeah.
I really think the 24-hour cycles, while they're going to stink because I'm going to hate to have to get up for reset every time. You know what I'm saying?
You feel obligated.
Yeah, but I think, though, it's a lot better to have that slight inconvenience rather than have you being on a server where you're stuck with getting rolled for 2 weeks right off the get-go. That I think be more damaging for World versus World long term.
To the community itself.
Yeah, so as crappy as that is, I will deal with it to get it right.
Yeah. And what effect on the community do you think these 24 hours are going to have? I mean,
I think it's going to burn some people out real early.
Yeah.
It's going to keep it fresh, though, as opposed to, like you said, getting rolled for 2 weeks straight in the first week of the game is going to have a lot of people like, well, F that, I'm not doing World v. World. Like, 2 weeks we just got rolled, that part of the game isn't cool. These 24-hour things give each each server a fresh chance, and they're like, all right, let's get them tonight. Maybe we can do this tonight, maybe we can do that tonight. I think it's better to start that way, even though I really want to see the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, I would agree with the burnout. I can see that because even on the weekends, one of the things that I've stressed a lot is, we buy these monitors, we buy chairs and mice to make us the most comfortable, to increase our reflexes and stuff like that. I know it's not, healthy for 36 hours a game session, before taking a nap on a beta weekend. People are like, blank, dude, you look like a zombie. Go to bed.
That's not good for you? I didn't know that.
Wake up with like half a beef jerky wad, like still in your mouth. There's like,
yeah.
What happened? Mind TeamSpeak? Someone moved me to AFK? I'm not AFK. I'm not AFK.
I've been streaming this. I'm drool. My bad. Good night, guys.
Yeah.
I hope they get their data quickly, and I hope it's very comprehensive, but I really don't want it to go on for a long time. Even if they don't, quote-unquote, get it right, if it isn't perfect, I think they have a good idea. They're just looking for very specific numbers and variables to collect. So I hope they can do that, and I hope it's just a couple of days, because I'll tell you now, I don't want to be up every morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. Just, okay, it's rolling over, and have my 10 guys who were like, okay, blank, let's go. Yeah,
Oh,
just
God,
not
yeah.
looking forward to that at
Then
all.
you get that one night where they're fighting back on the reset too, and you're like, usually I can get back to bed within an hour, get up for work at 7, and they're just like, oh no, trebuchets, we need this. Oh boy, you're up 6:45. It's like I didn't shower, I'm going to work. Whereas it like I would much rather, because that's the whole appeal of World v World for me. I mean, it's awesome, but like 2 weeks, that makes it like a mini war, a skirmish, you know? Like,
Yeah.
that's really, really cool. And I mean, I may come back and bite that my tongue for that, but it's like, I think it's awesome because you have so much time to come back if you're terrible and you're just like, oh, we're getting worked. Oh, we have all next week. You know, let's really push. Let's get the community. Let's get the pugs going. Let's do all that.
Oh yeah, totally agree with that. And it'll be nice. You just mentioned pug players. That's a big part of the things that we've been doing is when we see them, we're like, hey, hi, come with us, come hang out. You know, people may not want to be a part of your guild, but they want to be a part of a community, and especially the Guild Wars 2 community. I mean, I hope I don't bite my tongue on this one, but I haven't seen like a lot of trolls. I've seen quite a lot of very mature gamers, and it's been a blast every time I've been in World versus World. So I'm looking forward to those, you know, long sieges and the pug players who were like, hey, we saw you guys yesterday. Where are you going? We're like, oh, we're going to go over here and do this. Oh, cool. We want to come hang out.
Oh yeah, the pug players are great. I mean, we've met a lot of great pug players, and just having them pug with us. I mean, they end up joining our guild just because how much fun they had pugging with us.
Oh yeah, it's like they're not part of a guild, but they're in this beta weekend. That means they're just as excited about a game as you are. You don't see them not in a guild and be like, he's bad. Like all we did at the end of ours when we're defending keeps and stuff, and they're on like trebuchets or something else. All I did was in local chat, you know, like aim a little bit more left, and I jump up and down from with the chat bubble. Be like, oh, he gets it. He's aiming left. It's like they're people too, you know, and they're going to be a huge part of World v World.
Oh yeah. All right. Anybody got any more thoughts on that, or else we'll move on to the next subject? All right.
Go.
All right. Next thing that's come up recently is the change to siege building time. What does everyone think about that? Better, worse?
Age of Empires.
How does it change your strategies, etc.?
It makes sense. I mean, it shouldn't be instantaneous, in my opinion. And like, there's several times in this last weekend where it's like, get on the ram. I'm almost done. And there's like a knockback or something. That's part of the game. That's the way it should honestly be. But it honestly just reminds me of Age of Empires. You know, like, job's done. You know, like, job's done. And just walk away.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
we had to adjust a bunch of our tactics because we were used to being able to run in, set up real fast, and just have that superiority. Now it's like you run in, and I even while I was streaming earlier, you know, we started getting attacked. We had about 5 guys with us. We're getting attacked by 20 people. If it had been instant, we could have put down, you know, plenty of stuff with the pugs that were with us to be able to hold them off. But no. We're building.
Just wait. No more flash ballistas, you know?
Yeah.
Heal me, quick. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, and there goes my plan. So, okay. Well, that was fun.
I need an upgraded hammer. Let me trade in badges of honor for a better hammer. Bring, like.
And it comes into a lot more strategies of how you're going to protect your stuff while it's building now, too.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Yeah. And what we've normally been doing is, as part of our strategy, we will have the siege builders with the defenders next to them. So they will make sure that if, you know, projectiles come in, that we put something up to take care of that. That if I'm, you know, if someone's getting hit, that we put regeneration down for them. That they're getting healed. It is another variable that, while it kind of sucks that you can't just throw things down real quick.
Are you there?
It adds more to the game, which I'm all about. So
again, Guardians, you know, like being what I didn't play one a ton, but they have that, I think, a utility that pops Aegis for everyone's within earshot for the next attack. You know, Aegis blocks the next attack. Even that Guardian bubble, like popping Aegis, that first hit that came in that was going to interrupt you, you get one more smack in the hammer, and it's a game of inches.
Yep.
Football.
All right. Any other comments?
No, I think the change was necessary. I think it was the siege weapon deployment was entirely too quick, and the build time was entirely too quick. I think it made sense, and in my opinion, it's a welcome balance change.
Yeah, it definitely will make those caking keeps and towers a lot more strategic.